Here are 4 areas where every individual must aspire to grow. You must aspire to grow in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God, and in favor with men. Every true leader who has left his mark on the sands of time, in the books of history, and over the lives of people, grew in these 4 areas. Now, to grow in wisdom is to, first of all, grow in knowledge, to have all the learning that you need, and to acquire all the skills that are necessary for your daily living, for your daily existence. And then to apply all that you have learned to the situations and circumstances of life that call for the application of the knowledge that you have. Now, you may have come across words that says, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That is true. That is very correct. That's the starting point. But in addition to the fear of the Lord, you must also have knowledge. You must also increase in knowledge. And you can only increase in knowledge when you read and when you look at everything with an eye of wanting to know. Okay? So do not approach situations of life as having known all things. Approach situations of life as a student who is willing to know something about everything and everything about something. Now, if you approach life in that perspective and you apply all that you have known to the circumstances and situations that call for application of that knowledge, then you can be said to be living in wisdom. You know, for example, that it is not wisdom to know that cigarettes can affect your lungs, and yet you smoke cigarettes. You cannot claim to be wise, especially in that regard. Okay? So when you see a medical doctor advising people on how to keep weight, yet the medical doctor is overweight, you know that medical doctor has knowledge but is not wise. Okay? And it's the same thing with lawyers who know the law and go ahead to break the law. And when I say break the law, I'm not saying they circumvent or find ways out of the law. No, they confront and break the law. You will know that such persons are lacking in wisdom. So wisdom is the application of all the knowledge that you know in all the circumstances that regard or require you to apply the knowledge. So again, you must grow in wisdom. You must grow in stature. To grow in stature is to grow physically, to grow mentally, to grow emotionally, psychologically, and in all other ways that you need to grow as far as your stature is concerned. This morning, a few friends and I were talking about our parents and how they've grown old such that their mind tells them they have strength, but their body fails them or tells them to slow down. Okay? Again, in that instance, there was a time that they grew healthy, they grew strong, they developed their bodies. In fact, one of the reasons why some of them have been able to last this long is because they grew in stature. So to grow in stature is to grow physically, is to grow psychologically, is to grow emotionally, is to grow mentally. Now, there are so many of us who do not know that this body fades. And we're reckless about what we eat. We're reckless about what we drink. We're reckless about where we even sleep or lie down. We're not mindful of the things that we feed to this body. No wonder this body, for some of us, fades faster than we can ever imagine. For you to grow in stature, you must learn to do exercises. You must know what to eat and even when to eat what to eat. For you to grow in stature, you must know when to rest and how to rest. That way you will grow in stature. This body is a container that holds or houses our spirit. And how long it can house our spirit will depend on how well we treat it. So, growing in stature simply says treat your body well. Eat the right stuff. Do the right measure of exercise. Take the right measure of rest. Go to the right places that you need to go to, and abstain from places that you do not need to go to, so that your stature, your physical frame and mental health will be intact. Now, the thought is that you must grow in favor with God. I'm talking about spirituality, not religion. Because you see, so many of us are very religious, but are far away spiritually. We're lacking when it comes to spirituality, because there are certain areas of life that we do not there are certain areas of life where we fail to take cognizance of God's presence in our relationship. Now, for you to grow in favor with God, you must be a friend of God. And for you to be a friend of God, you must acknowledge what He has done for you on your behalf. You must acknowledge that on your own, you are lacking. There are certain things you cannot do apart from God. Okay, you can do all manner of activities, but apart from God, they will not be successful. So you must grow in favor with God. Like Jesus would say, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and to God what belongs to God. To gain favor with God, you must give to God what belongs to God. And in this case, I'm referring to your time and to your relationship with Him. Because for you to have a friend, or for you to be close to a friend, you must spend sufficient time with the friend. So, prayer can be very helpful in this regard. Studying scriptures can also be very helpful in this regard. So you must grow in favor with God. And finally, you must grow in favor with man. A lot of us do not know the value of man. We disregard our neighbors. We disregard people that should have been a helping hand to us. There are certain things that God has released unto man, but we cannot gain because we do not have sound relationship with other people. If you grow in your relationship with people, you will grow in nearly every aspect of your life. Because, for example, you cannot claim to love God who you do not see while you hate your brother. It is not a possibility. The two cannot go together. So you must learn to grow also in favor with men. There are places where men have opened doors. In fact, there are places where God has opened doors, but they've remained shut because the people there do not recognize you, and because you do not share a relationship with them. Please learn to grow in favor with God and also in favor with man, if you must enjoy life. Again, these are the 4 areas. Grow in wisdom, grow in stature, grow in favor with God, and grow in favor with man. If you do these 4 things, your life will be sound. You will be on a high pedestal. People will marvel at the level of growth and the level of things that you enjoy in this life. So I encourage you as a leader today to learn to grow in these 4 areas. Cheers.